Well, I am so honored and elated to stand here on this stage today. I don't know if you guys know how big of a deal Plywood is. I think you do because you're watching, but I feel like my mom needs to be sitting right here and I can look at her and say, Mom, I did make it, okay? You said I would make it one day, and I did. Listen, I want to talk to you today about a principle that has transformed my life during this season. You know, we're living in a time that is difficult for so many people. But here's what I believe. I believe if we change our minds, we can change our lives. If we change the way that we look at things, the things around us may not change, but our mentality will cause us to see them in a different way. And as a result, our realities change. Here's the principle, and I want to unpack it for you today. Change always produces challenges and opportunities. Change always produces challenges and opportunities. Early in March of this year, I was out in Silicon Valley with some of the staff members at the Martin Luther King Jr. Center. Don't ask me why we were in Silicon Valley. We were there meeting with some different people in tech. And the idea was, and the question was, how can tech leverage its influence to make a difference in the world today? We had a great time. It was inspiring. After we had our meetings, we went over to the airport and we were getting ready to fly back. Well, this was, as you know, at the beginning of what we now know as COVID-19, the pandemic. I mean, it was at the beginning. So it was when everybody else was telling you that masks weren't doing anything. It was like, you better not wear your mask, you look crazy. Well, me, I'm just kind of overly cautious, and I didn't want to get sick at all. I was paranoid. I was walking around the airport, and people were looking at me crazy. I was looking at them kind of crazy, and I think one or two people had a mask on. And I said, well, at the very least, on this flight, I need to have a mask. But, I went around the airport. There was no mask to be found. But I did find a very large towel. And so I picked up a towel. I bought it from the store, and I got on the plane, and I wrapped it around my face. And I was on the plane, can I just say it? Looking crazy. And people were walking by me going, what is this black man doing? Right? I looked like a madman. And I'm looking at them like, oh, you don't know, right? I mean, people thought I was wild. Well, we landed, and as soon as we landed, the news was going crazy with COVID-19 everywhere. I got a phone call from a friend who was having a leaders gathering the very next day that he wanted me to come to, because there were leaders from all around the country meeting up around Denver and some other things. And he said, man, you got to get here. You got to get here. I said, I don't know. I said, this COVID thing it's kind of getting crazy. I think it's going to be a thing. He's like, oh, shut up, right? He's telling, don't be a wuss. I said, no, I don't think I'm going to go. I found out about a week after that everyone that had been on the trip had contracted the virus. And there was one friend in particular who almost lost his life from it. About a week after that, I got a call from my biological mother, who I've maybe seen 3 or 4 times. She calls me out of the blue and says, your biological father just passed away from COVID-19. He was in the hospital in New York City when New York was the hotbed, and he had diabetes. He had a little bit of a drug problem. He left the hospital to go get some drugs, contracted it on the streets, came back to the hospital and died and passed away. A week after that, I get a phone call from my adoptive dad who says that my uncle passed away. A week after that, my aunt passes away. We're talking about 3 weeks in a row of deaths. And I looked around and I said, we're in the middle of a pandemic, but we're also in the middle of a change. There's a change in our world. COVID-19 is a change, and change always produces challenges. And I was staring in the face at some of the greatest challenges that I would ever face. To this day, we have seen, and I think it's gone up, 137,000 deaths from COVID-19 here in America. I want to give you another stat that as of May 2nd, 100,000 small businesses have closed. 4.2 million businesses have gotten emergency loans. One more stat. But during that time, Zoom's founder also increased his revenue by 77%. You're going, wait, how did we jump from this to that? Well, change always produces challenges. But listen to something that's huge. I want you to hear this, that while change also produces challenges, while I was doing a funeral on Zoom, Zoom stock was flying through the roof. Because change always produces challenges. But you know what else it does? And I want you to hear this. I don't want you to miss it. It also produces opportunities. How can the two coexist? Well, it's just the life that we live in. And can I just take a moment and lean in to you? Come on, zoom in. I want to talk to you. I know many of you right now, you've experienced some real challenges. Maybe it was a death in the family. Maybe your businesses have shut down like never before. Maybe your own personal economy doesn't look like it's going to come back. And you find yourself, even in this moment, being reminded of the darkness that you're in. And I want to tell you this, I can identify with the darkness. I can identify. I know the pain that comes with change. But if you were for a moment just to let me in, and if you could just pause a little bit on your pain just for a couple of seconds, I'd love to give you a principle that I think can change your reality today. While you are managing your challenges, I think if you change the way you look at some things, or if you just look over to the right for a second, I know you gotta hold your challenges right here, right? I had to mourn my uncle. I had to mourn my biological father. I had to mourn my aunt. I had to pivot entrepreneurially. But while you're holding that challenge, if you'll look over to the right, I think you might see an opportunity. I think you might see an opportunity. Can I give you one more stat that while all this was going on and Zoom stock is flying through the roof, as of April 21st, Netflix gained $15.8 million. People were mourning, businesses were dying, but yet organizations were flourishing like never before. And you may ask the question, why? How can they flourish and they die? Well, I know it's because that they've recognized something that I want you to recognize today, and it's something that I had to recognize in the middle of my own personal unrest, that while I had challenges, that there were opportunities right around the corner. These people recognized that in the midst of the change, that there were in other places some opportunities that if they just focused on long enough while they were managing their challenges, that they could capitalize on. I know you're hurting, but I want to ask you the question, do you have the ability in this moment to push pause on your emotions long enough to see the unique opportunities that are all around you? Or, and this is it, this is the big question, come on, I'm excited, you should be excited. Or are you so busy managing your challenges that you miss your opportunities? If I were to ask you the question this way, I'd say it this way. I wonder how many of us are missing opportunities because we're so focused on challenges. You know, I think for many of us, it's hard for us to let go of the past. I think, people try to use the language about kind of the new normal, right? It's like, well, it's a new normal. Embrace the new normal, because if you can embrace the new normal, then, you'll start to succeed. And a lot of people go, no, I'm not embracing the new normal. I want to go back to when it is. I'm not accepting that this is the world that we live in. No, I'm not accepting this. No, it's going to change. I think many of us, it's difficult for us to embrace opportunities and even to embrace a new thing because we're so focused and committed to the old. It's like you're chasing after yesterday. It's like, when are we going to be able to go to the movies again like we once were? Right? When are we going to be able to go to church the way that we used to go to church? I mean, sports. I got to go back to the arena. When am I going to be able to see the Hawks again, or the Knicks, or the Lakers, or the Falcons? Right? We're chasing after that because we don't want to let go of the past. But can I tell you this? If you don't let go of the past, you can't embrace the present or plan for the future. The people that struggle the most with accepting and seeing the unique opportunities in the midst of the challenge are those that have a difficult time letting go of what was in order to embrace what is. I know we just had a little bit of yoga for a second, but can we just go there for a moment? I mean, a moment of meditation, a moment of focus, a moment where you maybe put your notes down and you just watch the screen and imagine this. I know if you're out there right now and you're saying, that's me, I just want you to take a moment and give yourself permission to let go of yesterday. I want to tell you, before we move on, because I want to give you some unique opportunities that we have in this season. But before we get there, I need you to just take a moment and give yourself permission to let go of yesterday. Give yourself permission to change. I'm not saying don't mourn. I'm saying at some point you have to move on. And you can mourn while you walk, and you can mourn while you run, and you can mourn while you innovate. But you can't just mourn. I get a lot of moments to sit with people and counsel them in more of a religious fashion. And there's some people that I counsel, as they've gone through deaths in the family, like even myself, that, at 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, 7 years after they've lost a loved one, they're still in it. And I have to tell them, hey, it's fine. Yeah, mom will always be mom, right? Nobody will ever be able to come in and take mom's place. But I think what mom would want you to do, even now, is keep living. Woo, I'm getting excited. She would want you to keep living. And I think for many of you, you may need to hear that you have to keep living. You have to keep innovating. You have to keep moving. You know why? You know why? Because we've been through worse before. And we've gotten on the other side. We've been through change. Come on. Some of you, you've been broke before. You've been broke before. But you made it out. You have to keep living. If there are some unique opportunities I'd love to point out to you, just if you would go with me for a second, I think they'll impact your today. Here's the first opportunity that we have in the middle of this season that maybe some of you missed. Family. Right? We've got more time than ever to be with family. What's one of the greatest threats to a family? Time. Right? No, you can't manufacture presence. One of the greatest threats to a marriage, one of the greatest threats to you and your child's relationship, right? To family, it's just time. Dad, when are you coming home? Mom, can you show up for this? Can we go outside and play? Mom, Dad, cousin, auntie, can we sit down and just have a moment of resolution and reconciliation? And can we talk about our relationship? Here it is. Can we just create some memories, right? I think for many of us, and I know because I've talked to many people, we're so focused on the challenge that we miss out on the fact that we could have a new marriage today. That there's an opportunity with our child. Right? Many of you, you got your son. He's been wanting to go outside and just throw the ball around. And you haven't been able to. Well, the bills are this and the bills are that. And, well, the boss wants me to do this. Well, I got to, this other statistic is out and I got to see what's going on Google and Facebook and all the elections coming up. I mean, we got to get focused. And we miss out on the fact that there's somebody standing next to us that needs us. I love a mentor of mine who often says that maybe the most important thing you do may not be something you do, but someone you raise. Family. It's a unique opportunity. Can I give you another one? Business. Business. I know they kind of contradict, but it is true. Some of you've got more ideas in you than you can hold. You're an entrepreneur. You've got some business ideas that you've been wanting to try for a long time, but you just haven't had what? The time to sit down and actually come up with something new. We talked about the idea of Zoom, right? Stop flying through the roof, right? We talked about Netflix on another level. I could give you 20 to 30 more organizations that have pivoted in this season because they saw the unique opportunity that comes with this unique change. The fact that everyone is at home and everyone is looking to engage in different ways because we can't go outside the way we wanted to. Businesses that have actually pivoted, that are winning in this season. You've got some ideas in you. This is the moment. Hear me. This is the moment to get it out. This is the moment to get the team on the Zoom call and for y'all to actually sit down long enough to create something incredible. You know what I would love? I would love some stories after COVID, right? It's not going to be what it was, but it'll be a new world. I mean, at some point, a vaccine or whatever is going to happen. But I would love some stories of people that said, man, I launched a business during that season. I had enough time to put some things on paper and look at everything. I've got 4 and 5 websites. I mean, right? I would love the story of people that get some things out of them. Another mentor of mine told me that the graveyard is one of the most wealthiest places in America. Why? Because people die with dreams on the inside of them. Businesses on the inside of them. Innovation on the inside. Listen, this is the moment to get it out. This is your moment. This is your season. Would you just hold your challenges lightly and look to the right? Can I give you another one? Health. Woo. Some of you, we did the yoga at the beginning. Health. This is a big one. You know, one of the greatest threats, and again, I'm not a trainer, so don't take me at face value, but one of the things I just believe is one of the reasons why it's so difficult for many of us to lose weight is because we lose our routine, right? I do a lot of traveling. I'm sure you do a lot of traveling, some of you. And it's the most difficult time for me to stay on track with my health, right, with my regimen is when I'm on the road, when I'm moving, when I'm busy. Right? I will go to the gym every night around this time or in the morning, get up and do this because I got my routine, I got my shake, I've got my ingredients, and I can stand up and I can do that. But when I get busy, it's very difficult for me to lock into a routine. We have the opportunity now to lock into a unique routine. And can I say this? We may never get this opportunity back the way that we have it now. You've been trying to lose weight. Some of you are trying to get some more muscles. I mean, I'm not judging you. But this could be the season that you change your diet. This could be the season that you lose and you shed those pounds that you've always been wanting to shed. Listen, health is so important. Health is so important. I believe God cares about it. I know you care about it. We want you to live a long, I think Plywood is about, we want you to live a long time. Get your health. This is probably the most important one, and I'm out of your way. Your inner man. Your inner man or woman. Women, I thought about you. I threw you in there. Perhaps in this season, getting alone could be one of the best things that you ever do. I'm not talking about family. I'm not talking about leaving kids. I'm not talking about leaving the town. I'm talking about taking an intentional moment to meditate. For some of you, you're a Christian, right? You're a Jesus follower. You're a God, I don't know. Some of you may be Muslim, whatever your religious affiliation is. This could be the moment to go deeper spiritually. I don't know what you believe. I just believe God speaks to us when things get quiet in a way like never before. This is a moment to strengthen your inner man or inner woman and come out on the other side of COVID-19 a different person. Listen, if I were to leave you with one statement today, it would be this one, that change always produces challenges and opportunities. And if you can have that mentality, I think you'll maximize your today. Thanks.